In this session, we will discuss the topic life process. Life process can be generally described as the different processes that are carried out by living organisms. That means the process that are essential for the life. How can you tell anything is a living being? Consider a car. It has the capacity to move maybe in a better way than that of a horse. But we don't say a car is a living thing because living beings have certain characteristics. Among different features, three notable characters makes this horse living when compared to the car. They are growth, development and reproduction. A living being is capable to carry out these three functions. There may be some exceptions. For example, a virus, it is capable of development and reproduction only inside other living beings. Yet, they do perform the function of growth and reproduction. Thus, life processes can be defined as certain biological processes that are needed to sustain life. Let us see what are the fundamental processes that will keep an organism living. First of all, there comes a process called nutrition. It is the process by which organisms obtain energy from the environment through food. All living beings require energy to carry out their functions, and they take this energy in the form of food. Respiration is a process in which the chemical energy stored in the food is released so that the organism can use it. Next comes transportation. In case of multicellular organisms like human beings or birds, the body is a complex system. Food or energy has to be reached into every cells for the life to go on. For that, several vital compounds including oxygen, glucose, carbon dioxide has to be transported between different cells. Last comes the process of excretion. Functioning of the cells will generate certain materials or compounds that are not needed to the body or even harmful. Such materials or the so-called waste materials has to be removed from the cells. This process is called excretion. We will start with the process of nutrition. A living body always requires energy to maintain its life. In addition, they also need chemicals for growth and repair of the body. Ours is a carbon-based life form. We are dependent on carbon compounds for the life. The food what we take have different chemicals that will provide energy to us, and also they will act as the building blocks of the body. In this planet Earth, different organisms have different ways to obtain food from the environment. The sun is the primary source of energy in our planet, and some organisms, especially the plants and some cyanobacteria, are capable of utilizing the light energy of the sun. They absorb the light energy from the sun and store it as chemical energy to use later. Such organisms are called autotrophs. There are other kind of organisms who are unable to directly utilize the light energy of. They depend or feed on the autotrophs or other organisms. In other ways, they depend on the chemical energy that has been already stored. Such organisms are called heterotrophs. Now we have two kinds of nutrition methods, autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. As I have told earlier, plants are the major autotrophs. Now we will see how do autotrophs obtain energy. As I have told earlier, organisms need carbon for their growth and development. They also store energy in the form of carbon compounds to use when needed, and they also need energy to drive all these processes. In case of autotrophs, all these needs are made possible by a process called photosynthesis. In photosynthesis, carbon dioxide and water is taken from the environment and it is converted into carbohydrates by utilizing the light energy of the sun. These carbohydrates may be stored as a food reserve. Chemically, the process of photosynthesis can be written as 6 moles of carbon dioxide plus 12 molecules of water is converted into 1 molecule of glucose and 6 molecules of oxygen and water in the presence of sunlight. Photosynthesis is the process by which organisms capture energy from sunlight and use it to build food molecules rich in chemical energy. Basically, photosynthesis includes three steps: absorption of light energy by chlorophyll, conversion of light energy into chemical energy, and splitting of water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen, reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates. Reduction here means addition of hydrogen molecules to carbon compound. Let us go into some of the details of the process of photosynthesis. Plants are able to absorb the light energy with the help of a pigment called chlorophyll. We classify the cells within a leaf into different types based on the structure, function, or location. One such group of cells are called mesophyll cells. They contain a specialized cell organelle called chloroplast. The chloroplast contains the pigment called chlorophyll, which has the ability to absorb the sunlight. Thus, photosynthesis takes place within the cell organelle called chloroplast. In this image, you can see a cross section of a leaf. This is a layer of mesophyll cells. These cells contain the specialized cell organelle called chloroplast. And within the chloroplast, you can see several other tiny structures or layers called thylakoids, where the chlorophyll is present. This is the specialized system in plants to harvest the light energy of the sun. The plants need another structure to absorb the carbon dioxide. Let us see about that. This structure in plants, called the stomata, perform the function of gaseous exchange. Stomata are tiny pores. The opening and closure of the pores are controlled by a special type of cells called guard cells. Through these cells, carbon dioxide enter into the plants so that plants can utilize it in the process of photosynthesis. Usually the terrestrial plants have their stomatal opening on the underside of their leaves. Now we have understood how an autotrophic organism obtains energy and carbon from the environment. Autotrophs have their own mechanisms for absorbing energy from the sunlight and obtaining carbon from the environment. In the next session, we will see what are the heterotrophs and what are their mechanisms of nutrition in heterotrophs.